All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 14th, and CPI has just come in. We've got core inflation coming in at 5.6%, just higher than 5.5%, which is consensus, and inflation rate at 6.4%, which is where consensus was 6.2%. So both numbers higher than expectations. We're going to see markets react to this. Well, now, just moments ago, we were up 30 basis points in pre-market. We are now down 23 basis points. So congratulations to all the bears. So let's get some people up here. Let's talk and see what plays you guys have made, if they've been impacted by CPI today, or if you're going to be entering new trades and how you're benefiting off this news.
I play both sides, so my SPY put should be printing right about now if it holds until market open, and then hopefully SPY goes back up a little bit so I can at least get out of my calls at a reasonable price.
So you're expecting it to whipsaw back and forth, kind of?
If it's anything like it has been previously, it should a little bit. There'll be an overreaction, and then it'll normalize a little bit, I'm thinking.
All right, who else we got?
Yeah, I just want to say to everyone out there, happy Valentine's Day. That's right. If you're single, that's okay. You can get a Pringle. Get ready to mingle. Didn't mean to rhyme those words, but I just want to say happy Valentine's Day. And also want to say that we have a Discord. That's right. We have a Discord. And if you haven't seen it yet, you can go check out the comment section because I'm sure Opinion posted it for us. And come on over because we got many analysts in there that got CPI plays for you, as well as movie night, game night, and much, much more.
Love it.
My boys, the SPY is ripping.
Yeah,
the SPY is going up.
Yeah, we're up 50 basis points now. Damn.
Oh, my calls are printing now. Yay. I'm on the road, so I can't keep track on it real time, but thank you for reporting in.
Yo, holy crap. Now we're up, holy dang. I mean, we're up 75 basis points, 82 basis points. Wow.
Holy crap, the call that I called out earlier is like way more expensive now.
The VIX is literally taking a deep dive down, negative 140 right now. Dang, futures are up. Let's go.
You know it's exciting when our Canadian overlord is actually cursing openly on the talk. That's when you know something
So
massive has got. Like I'm surprised he's not like profusely apologizing, but still, like it's massive when that happens.
Wow, it's crazy volatility pre-market for SPY. But what about other stocks? Anything you guys are excessively invested in that you guys want to talk about?
Coca-Cola calls this Friday. They have earnings today, this morning.
Yes,
And I was looking at Budweiser, $60 calls for this Friday. They were 21 cents, and now they're probably going to be way more expensive at open.
And I wanted to also mention, sorry, Rod, go ahead.
I was just going to tell Mast he doesn't have to worry about it because he'll apparently just win that trade anyway, because that's the rule right now, is just Mast wins whenever he makes an options play.
For now. PLTR, surprised they beat earnings, finally making a profit. As you guys know, that's an AI company. And they have been struggling for so long, for year after year, 2 years in a row. Just not profiting on their earnings. And isn't it strange that AI talk has been ramped up and all of a sudden they beat earnings? I don't know. I'm not a magic ball, but if pretty sure that was a little timing quite right?
Who's that? Which company?
PLTR.
Oh.
Palantir.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it, so I didn't want to try.
Are they still like taking all their money and just buying gold? Because I know for a while they just kept buying physical gold over and over, and it was like the weirdest strategy for a company.
I think they're still diluting, which is the problem.
I'm convinced most people on the subreddit don't even know what Palantir does.
It's like UPST. It doesn't matter what it does. I like the stock.
Yeah, they actually are. They're actually in bed with Amazon, believe it or not. So yeah, check them out if you guys want to. They actually have a real solid business plan with Amazon. So I was kind of surprised. Took them a while, excuse me, to beat their earnings, but finally they're profitable.
I'm looking at calls expiring maybe in 2 weeks for Hyatt and Marriott because they're reporting their earnings. I think they will pop because even though it has already been going up this last 3-5 weeks, I think there's still some wins to be made.
Yeah, Marriott just had their earnings this morning and they did well. They are still continuing to see strong travel demands. Hyatt should follow suit.
Yeah, it looks like I just want to let you guys know that we have some comments in the comment section. Yeah, just interesting that some people are saying that look at Tesla and then also look at entertainment. The third 2135 says he'll be heading to Wendy's today. And then also, if you guys have some time, go ahead and check out your fun little friend, the stock market spy, because he is ripping. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I can't read my user. I'm sorry about your 408 spy puts. That's all I got to say.
I see SPY pretty much back to where it was.
That's what I was hoping for. As far as Tesla goes, I heard news this morning that apparently there's at one of their facilities in New York, they are going to be trying to get them to unionize. I guess the union is trying to make inroads into Tesla. So make of that as you will. So that might have an impact on the price depending on how that evolves.
What do my oil bulls think about them saying they're gonna tap more of the SPR and not replenish it?
So the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve sale that's going on right now isn't a response to anything. They just do yearly unloads and like sellouts, and this is just a scheduled one that has nothing to do with like a response to anything.
They're just freshening the inventory.
Yeah, they have like these periodic times where they just sell a certain amount. It's just what they kind of do. So this isn't like a sign that oil inventories are one way or the other.
But they didn't reload it after dumping a bunch on the market last year, right?
They started to a little bit when I think their plan was to begin refilling it when oil was around $70 a barrel, but it's higher than that now. So I'm not sure if they're still continuing that at the moment.
What does everybody think about PayPal? It's been flat for almost a year. Not doing much. Same with Block.
Well,
I think they beat on their earnings expectation, but since the CEO is changing, maybe this could be seen as bad news.
Is there any particular reason you are focusing in on PayPal with it being flat for a year?
Yeah. Reason is I'm back holding. I think I'm down like 60% currently. I never average down just because I feel like there isn't going much with
You know
the company anymore.
you could have just sold cover calls this entire time.
I don't have enough shares on that one.
Ah,
I actually cut some losses end of the year for some tax deductions, but I still have a handful of shares. Not a handful, but like quite a bit of shares, especially in block. I have an average of $190 with over 100 shares, and selling covered calls on that is really annoying right now, as the stock does not give great premiums, and then you have those random weeks where it pops like 10%, and you never know if it's gonna break out or not. So I feel like it's kind of risky selling covered calls when it's already down so much.
What was your PayPal average price?
I'm sorry, I was talking about block. My block, so SQ average price is at $190.
I think PayPal and Block are starting to be attractive, but for PayPal, for me to enter, I think it should be around $70 or $65. I don't see it going away anytime soon, so it could be a stock to hold for a long time.
I feel like PayPal has gotten a lot of hate over the past few months or even a year when they changed their user agreements. I don't have the total insight anymore. I've seen a lot of shit talk about them.
So it looks like Denny's beat earnings. Thank you, Second Shifter, for that information. That's would be ticker DENN. So that's DENN, Denny's.
So SPY is slightly red now. So goodbye to the pump.
Yeah, I forgot to state the rest of my play earlier. I was also looking at further dated puts on Bud for $45 on 317. They're currently 15 cents a share, so I might get in at $15 for the contract.
Anyone paying attention to solar stocks? I guess First Solar and Solar Edge reported, and I don't think they had very good prints, but I haven't dug into them much. I've been following Enphase, but it's down in sympathy.
So anybody want to talk about retail for a minute? Still, Albatross 2932 says in the comments, any insights on Walmart, TGT, which is Target, and other retails with earnings next week?
Our Walmart crew's not here right now. We have like several people with opinions on them. They're not here.
Yeah, where's Shepherdess? Is she still on the short bus to Walmart?
Probably sleeping.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. She
Opinion, what
would
do
fall
you
asleep
think?
on the short bus.
Opinion, what do you think about Target and Walmart?
Why do you guys think Walmart's going to do bad? My first question.
I don't think anyone here's expressed any opinion about it either way.
I think Walmart's going to be Walmart. Generally flat, could go up, could go down.
Was it last quarter that Target just took that huge dump? Or am I just remembering it wrong?
I don't recall which quarter you're talking about, but I do know Target is definitely down from its all-time high.
Do you mean when they came out saying that there was like a high level of theft going on at their stores, and then everyone thought that that meant that like all their stuff was getting stolen? You talking about that time?
Or the time that they said that they had a package of inventories.
I think it was maybe 2 quarters ago. And we're talking about like excess inventory and it dropped like $30.
Yeah, that was not the last ones. That was the one before. For
Before.
Target.
Okay.
Where, yeah, they just ordered the wrong stuff, so they were stuck on a lot of inventory. But I think that was very Target specific. I don't think Walmart had that issue. Target just ordered the wrong items.
Is anyone playing Shopify? I think their earnings are on Thursday.
I think they're still overpriced. I think they have a lot more to lose, so I think there's a better downside than an upside with Shopify. Anyone else still trying to digest the CPI numbers? Because the core barely above expectations, but then the year over year 0.2 above
Okay.
expectations, but still better than previous.
I'm driving. Is my volume okay right now?
Yep, coming in loud and clear.
All right, I've got 2 really big positions closing on Friday with Coke KO strike at 63 and Marriott strike at 180. I was able to see the Coke earnings report this morning before I left, but I'm in the car and I haven't been able to read over Marriott. I only saw that they beat EPS and revenue by about 10% each. I was just wondering if anybody else has similar positions or thoughts on their earnings report.
Yeah, I just thought about it in the beginning. I saw the Marriott beat. I was thinking of jumping into Hyatt and Hilton calls. I think their earnings, the other earnings are later. I think this week. Yeah, later this week. So not Marriott particularly, but in the same sector. I think I'm bullish on the whole sector right now, hotels and traveling and everything.
I agree, but I would be wary about Hyatt. They're already trading at like a 95 PE.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think historically the share price is not that overvalued. If you compare back to 5 years, and this is like the first year, the second year they start making a lot more money. So yeah.
taking a look at Nvidia leaps. Have any of you guys looked into those?
Okay, but we are back at it. Like Marriott did report this morning, and my contract expired Friday with a strike at 180 on Marriott. Anybody have thoughts on that? If I should just get out as soon as it opens this morning and just take the profits, or ride it out a little bit?
What do you expect to have happen now that earnings are out between today and Friday that's going to significantly cause the stock to go up to a degree that will be worth holding on to those contracts versus cashing out?
Well, IB Crush is going to work against him first and foremost.
Right, but like the ultimate question is if you played earnings and earnings are now done and you got the result you wanted and hopefully you're up and you only have a week left on these contracts, what do you anticipate in the next couple days is going to happen that's going to cause such a pump that you're going to be like, yeah, I should have held, right?
And outweighs the cost of theta.
Yeah, I believe there was a few more earnings later this week about the overall travel sector as well, that might affect it a little bit, and then overall sentiment could continue to rise. I was obviously going to cash out most of the position, but I was just going to leave a little bit and let it ride until Friday. But that's kind of why I'm here.
Yeah, I'd
I had a
say.
question. I was curious, has anybody thought about SunPower? They've got their earnings today after hours.
I was just going to say real quick on the Marriott. Marriott was last high, the last 20 years. The highest it's ever been is 195.90, and its average range is around $6, give or take, $4 on its low days. So it doesn't really move much per se. But the last time it was at 177, give or take. It went all the way up to 183. It took about a couple weeks, almost 2 weeks to go to that level. So I'd say, as mentioned earlier, what makes you think it's going to continue climbing up? I obviously understand that you think there's going to be an opportunity for them, which is a fair speculation, right? But when is that going to be priced in for the stock owners to say, hey, I want to buy more, or have their buddies buy more? That's the real question you have to ask yourself, and only you can answer that question. I do believe, before we get into the solar plays, somebody want to know about Nvidia, if anybody wants to touch on that real quick.
Cool. I appreciate the feedback.
I'm all in Nvidia, but I'm just called. I'm just scared right now.
Go ahead, Alexandra. Dre, I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's it, Alexander. Morning, everyone. I just want to bring a new topic. Today there is a new meeting in Ramstein to support Ukrainian effort. There is a lot of talk about the munitions to be depleted, and supposedly there is going to be a lot of contracts to buy munitions and to ramp up production, as everything is very low in all NATO countries. So isn't this supposed to be a very good long play for the next few months? I'm seeing Rheinmetall going up in the last month a lot, around 20%. So hopefully it will continue to go.
Which kind of munitions are you expecting specifically? Because there are different.
Artillery and everything they're talking, but mostly is artillery and small arms munitions. I saw today there was already a German contract for Rheinmetall to buy a few million euros of that, and I'm expecting also in US companies, I would say.
Yeah, it's a little dry this morning. Sorry, guys. Obviously, some people are still trying to figure out where this market's going to go. So, yeah, obviously, we can't speculate on any where things are going to go in regards to like certain resources because we don't know what's going to happen with the war or what's going to happen with the true economies coming out. So it's kind of speculative, but yeah.
Grand Rising Wall Street Bets, how y'all doing this morning? I got a couple things maybe you can look at in this dry day. I posted it in the chat. Just like 4 of them. Again, do your own due diligence. PLTR had a great earning, so it ran up last night. Maybe it'll run today, not sure. AMST as well. I'd keep an eye on that. And I'll just give you one more, RUBY. I do have a little DD, INPX. I mentioned a couple times, as long as it holds over $1 in the volume, it may run today. That's INPX. And I wish everybody a blessed day. Have fun, y'all.
So with the defensive stocks, I certainly think there's an opportunity in things like RTX or like Raytheon Technologies and LMT, so Lockheed Martin. Expanding beyond that, not too certain, but I'm fairly confident that those two are gonna trend upwards, not necessarily saying buy a daily or a weekly or anything along those lines, but longer term, those are looking pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that long term because it's expecting after the meeting today, there are a lot of contracts to be signed in the next weeks, I would say.
Long term being 2 months.
But isn't this Russia-Ukraine thing primarily a land war? And I don't know too much about Raytheon, but I'm pretty sure they do a lot of like missile system type stuff for aircraft. And then Lockheed Martin, I think we all know about them. So is that still consistent with the type of war?
Yes. Raytheon is doing the suicide drones, and Lockheed Martin is all the munitions for the IMR systems, for example.
I see.
Hey, I have a question. I'm looking at this news on Adidas, and they're about to lose a whole bunch of money for a couple of different reasons. Anybody have any ideas how we can short them? I don't see it on the options chain. So maybe who manufactures their product. Some company is going to lose a lot of money if Adidas continues on this downward trend. So just a thought, if anybody has any feedback or any companies that might tie directly into Adidas that would help us get paid.
Adidas is listed in on the German exchange, so I could just short that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't here in the States. So just a thought, guys. Think about that.
If you think that Adidas isn't going to do well, there may be an opportunity at going against the companies that sell their product.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they're expected to lose a whole lot of money when they parted ways with Kanye West, and they have some other things on the back end as well. So just the thought, we get on it early. It may be too late at this point, but they're not going to do well the first 2 quarters with the recession and everything else tied into that situation. So
I would actually counter that and say that they were doing quite well without Kanye, with all due respect. And when Kanye left, it was just really just lost extra money, right? But all in all, they are a strong company. They have a good market share within the European as well as the American footprint. So I wouldn't sell them off just quite yet, but I digress.
Just to make a bit tangent with Nike, I think it was one of their last earnings where they dropped 20, 30 points or something, massive. And everybody was saying how Nike was so bad, it's going to go to 50, and they recovered within I think it was 3 months, 3 weeks, or no, to a month or something like that. We might see that type of recovery with Adidas, right? It's not going anywhere.
Just want to mention, Eat Albert Beef in the comments says GD General Dynamics is the main U.S. artillery shell producer, so we should keep that in mind too as well when looking at GD. So that's obviously if we go to war or if we back someone up when it comes to war, that's a stock to put on the watch list for sure.
Yeah, that sounds like more in line with what I'd play if I was trying to play the Russia-Ukraine replenishment.
Well, so the U.S. is also replenishing other countries that the U.S. is paying to send their stuff.
By the way, you guys were talking about Palantir. I think Palantir is also one of the major suppliers to software in Ukraine. I think most of the revenue they've got in the last fourth quarter was from there.
Yeah, I was bullish on Palantir yesterday. I think somebody was trying to debate on being bearish.
Yeah, I thought I saw like a bad earnings on it. A bad earnings would come out, but what I saw was it was down.
Oh, you're the one bearish?
Yeah. No, I thought I saw something that said the earnings was going to be below, so I was mentioning it. And it probably sounded more confident than just the comment.
Well, I'll agree. I'm bearish on the leadership, though, not actually the company itself.
On the leadership? How?
How? With how they handle the share classes and how they handle the non-voting shares.
Yeah, that Alex Karp guy looks super shisty.
So Avis Car actually came out with earnings. Anyone have any feedback on that? CAR is the ticker. As ongoing right now, so.
Yeah, I ended up not playing car, but are you asking bearish or bullish?
I was just curious what their earnings call is saying right now. They are on the watch list for.
Just wanted to jump in quick about the munitions. I didn't know if anybody saw a story came out saying Japan was going to be bulk ordering Tomahawk cruise missiles from the U.S. by March of 2024. Since Raytheon's the one who manufactures those, tickers RTX, Robert Thomas X-ray, just in case anybody wants to check it out.
Yeah, basically all the main war stocks, right? RTX, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, Northrop Grumman.
Morning, all. Boeing's got a pretty big defensive.
And Boeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Boeing, for sure. I'd be bullish on Boeing also.
L3 Harris as well.
They're a little bit smaller, mid-size.
Japan's probably buying missiles to fight Godzilla. It's not the same.
No, it's I just want to let everybody know that that information it's still a pending order. It's speculation. It's not a full on inked deal yet. So it's one of those things you can't put on your watch list. Definitely check it out because as far as my corner sees, it says it's considering making a package purchase. Obviously, we can assume, but you never know.
What do we think of Airbnb?
Do they have earnings coming
Yeah, today.
today, pre-market
It's
or
after
after?
the bell today.
After.
So
How-
Marriott good.
How has the environment for Airbnb changed, or the story for them changed?
I feel like less people are, going out and traveling during these times. And then the second piece to that is it's almost cheaper now to just get a hotel and so forth versus Airbnb, which used to be cheaper, but once they went public, the prices went up significantly.
So do you think it's going to tank?
I want to say yes. At least that's just mine. Like without doing any research, just that'd be my gut telling me to go bearish. But again, I would have to dig deeper.
Yeah, but you say that, but the last earnings, right, Q3, they beat the EPS by I think a quarter, 25% or something, which is huge. And I don't see travel, going down. And if anything, there would be more demand for travel. And if it's not, leisure, it's still business travel. That's going to be picking up a lot. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot can change over a quarter, right? I mean, it's not like it was a month ago, but again, I haven't done enough research to fully make a decision.
Yeah, maybe you do a spread trade. It's like long Marriott, short Airbnb or something.
Yeah, I caution any Airbnb bears just because of the fact that they're trying to really become a hotel booking type site within their features, meaning you can just show your face and check into your place. And then also with the host, because that was a big problem, that they have to have more restrictions and going to give the customer a lot more opportunities to give feedback and criticism without like hurting the customer itself, because usually it was the host that got away with stuff, and now it's going to they're going to turn it over to the customer while also giving the host better security and more vetting for the actual customer coming in. So it'll be interesting. I'd say I wouldn't be. I will go on the speculation mode just for a second, and I say that their next earning call will be something about AI. You can write that down. IOT said AI for Airbnb. I digress.
In terms of like their platform.
Yeah, correct. So they'll do biometrics, facial, fingerprints, that kind of thing. Make things a lot easier.
do people really want that as much?
Right, like I'm just gonna go still book it through the hotel directly instead. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. You still have the opportunity to show your face when you're walking down the street with a camera, and you can't hide your face. So, I mean, what's the difference between going to a store and being able to check out faster? I don't know.
So I don't know how other people feel, but the thing with Airbnb, they've gotten sort of ridiculous with nickel and diming their customers. So what they don't advertise in their what you don't really see up front are their cleaning costs, and then you have to clean up after yourself. Otherwise, they charge you for this, that, and the other. And that doesn't exist with when you book a hotel room. Like when you book a hotel room, that's the price you pay plus the taxes or whatever, and then you're done with it. You don't have all these extra fees and stuff like that pop up. And I think for me, I find it annoying. And it's more of a it seems like a shady business practice rather than something that's benefiting customers. Yeah, that's my 2 cents worth on it. Like I don't like these. Like, oh, you got to clean up after yourself. We're going to charge you $350 to clean it. You don't get that with a regular hotel like Marriott or Hilton.
That's exactly my point.
Oh,
There's
it's cheaper too.
I
I don't know about. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I don't know about the hosting side, but are the cleaning fees based on the host, or is this Airbnb just putting that on the customers?
I don't know who makes those up, but it seems like people just make that shit up as they go along.
I have experience. I have
believe
experiences with like.
I,
Sorry.
I was going to say, I believe the cleaning fees are listed by whoever's hosting the property. What I don't know is if Airbnb gets a cut of that as well. But I was just looking the other day to go out for the weekend, and I was seeing, like he was saying, $200, $300, $400 cleaning fees. I did also notice, though, that they did make changes to the app recently where you hit a little slider and it'll actually include all those fees in the price. And I just closed out of it because I was disgusted.
Exactly.
I mean, you guys are talking about like all these fees and everything as if they're so bad, but I mean, Airbnb is a company to make money, and if people are still walking in through the front door, then it's great for you as an investor if you have those fees. The question is, if they've already implemented all of these things, how can their growth story continue? Because they're already trading at a pretty wild PE ratio. So if they're expecting to continue raising prices in some way or nickel and diming in new creative ways, is that going to be sustainable?
Social capitalism, which is what
If anything, I think that's very bullish for as an investor. Well, they're nickel and dime and getting any revenue they can, right? So.
Short term. Social capitalism doesn't work with like the stock market and stuff like that. Like if you're either making, like, they're trying to make money for the hosts that are hosting, and they're also trying to make money for the shareholders. And that doesn't really work because the economies of scale are no longer there. So for a business like a hotel, for example, if they have 400 units at a hotel and they hire 10 people to maintain the clean and do all that kind of stuff, you can't get those economies of scale with an Airbnb. That's why the cleaning fees are so high. I mean, imagine, like, I have cleaners that come to my house and clean the house. I'm just my house. Now, I don't do Airbnb.
Sure.
But I have cleaners that come to the house and clean the house, and they expect to get paid because they're doing work, and they're cleaning like the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, the basement. They're cleaning all the bedrooms and all the bathrooms. So they expect to get paid $300-400 every time they come visit because it's a lot of work. That's why I don't want to do it myself. I'm willing to pay for that. But then to charge for someone to rent there for a night or two on top of that, and then you have that high cleaning fee, you no longer get the economies of scale that hotels and these larger hospitality establishments do in their
Mr. High Roller there. Thank you for telling us about your lifestyle. Looks like I need to upgrade mine. I would say that I would agree with the opinion that, at the end of the day, that these prices essentially they increase and it helps the stock, right? Giving I guess you would say small business owner, if you want to call it that, the Airbnb host, allows them to set fees and create profits that obviously get split with Airbnb. I would also say on the record.
Wait, you said obviously. Are you certain that the fees that they charge, that Airbnb gets a cut?
Am I sure of it? Well, at the end of the day, they do get a little percentage of it. Yes.
They get a pretty good percentage, which is why they
make money off of like how you process it too. A big
Correct.
part of like Verbo and all that is like a lot of people will try and direct bookings to themselves and have you like backdoor them. I've been in the condo management business for like 20 years. If you want to Google something really insightful, Joe Gebbia did a speech for the class of 2022 at Brookwood High School. Like you can just Google Airbnb, Brookwood, and you'll see it on Yahoo and stuff. And I think they're highly disrupted to the hotel industry. Like somebody's talking about Marriott, there are 80 calls. Those are $5 out of the money right now. Now, granted, there hasn't been a lot of volume pre-market, but it traded flat to down on earnings. And if that was a beat and that's what it did, then Airbnb, the other thing to look at on the charts is there's a big gap to the upside. So if they have a beat of any kind, you could see an explosive move upside, just looking on the charts.
So something to remember with Airbnb that kind of left the public mind because of the pandemic. Before the pandemic happened and all those shutdowns and everything, a lot of states, at least in the US, were talking about banning Airbnbs from their area because they did not like them. A lot of suburbs were talking about it. A lot of places were like proposing bills to flat out say you cannot operate an Airbnb here, or if you do, you have to live here for a certain percentage of the year. There were like a lot of regulations that were going to go in place, and then the pandemic hit, and it kind of just fizzled because no one was going anywhere anyway. So just keep in mind that can come back.
Yeah, I mean, they were still doing it at condos and apartments.
Yeah, in Europe also a lot of that because it's people are stopping to rent houses for the long term because Airbnb is more profitable.
And if I could just throw a little comment in there in regards to the extra fees, that's all non-taxable. So that's all just profit. You don't pay taxes on that. So the more fees they add is actually better for the company to grow.
Yeah, that's what we keep saying.
There's always going to be a cleaning fee too, unless you self-manage. Think about it. Like I used to clean condos myself, like before Airbnb was a company. So, I mean, like the amount of hair that gets left behind in a bathtub, not to be weird, you know what I'm saying? But like, you're right. Somebody said it's included with the hotel booking fee, but I would say that hotels, their costs are going up too. Bed bugs, shit like that. Like I think it's more prominent at hotels. I had a bad experience at Wyndham. Obviously, I've been pretty vocal about. I had a question on SPY 0 DTE.
Yeah. Hey, if we could just keep cut back on the self-loathing comments for your opinion. I mean, with all due respect,
I got you, man.
I do stay at the Ritz and the Marriott and the different hotels, and I haven't had any bed bugs yet. Knock on wood. But at the end of the day, they're still decent companies. So.
True that.
And I'm also looking at buying some stock in them, so that's also why.
A question on 0 DTE options. After like CPI like this morning, is it better to hold off on trading those like for a couple hours, or does the IV crush pretty much kick in pretty instantly? Any thoughts on that?
It kicked in even before the market open, right? So at market open, IV crush has already basically happened.
Yeah, I guess my question is there an advantage to waiting a few hours? Is there even bigger crush like 2 hours in or something like that? Obviously on 0 DT, they're getting crushed, but is it better to hold off on them, do you think, or trade them towards the open?
IV crush happens immediately after and during the announcement.
The whole point would be if you're waiting, maybe there's a reaction that is not really something that can be priced out. So sometimes, like when the Fed speaks, you'll say, okay, the IV crush is happening, but then you'll see the market trade irrationally. And sometimes people who like to bet on the movement can come out ahead or behind, but you're just asking for more volatility at that point.
I feel like the market's reversed like 4 or 5 times since CPI print already. So like, good luck with the 0 DTE.
But that's the point. Is that
you gotta
not
wait
getting the IV crush.
to kind of let it pick a direction.
Hey, is the consensus that it's going to either like soft land or crash, and that we should know which way it's going to go by spring or early summer?
There's no consensus.
Well, I mean, we know it's either going to soft land, or something's going to break, like this dead bubble,
Nobody
right?
knows anything. Everybody's speculating.
So
No,
like,
I mean,
nobody knows.
it follows the cycle, a business cycle, right? I mean, it's going to follow that cycle through.
Look, the markets could easily stay relatively flat and boring as F, which is honestly one of my more scarier scenarios, is that the market's going to do that. But yeah, there's no like we know X or Y must happen. The markets aren't that binary. If they were, they'd be easily tradable.
And it's because we're coming out of a pandemic and heading into a second wave of a war, so it's not like business as usual at this point either. So
Yeah, I mean, barring any other black swan events, it should follow that business cycle curve, right? Like it.
Well, no. So the black swan event with the pandemic, we're still feeling the effect of that. So like the inflation that was created wasn't that was created by the stimulus and stuff that was sent out. So that's still underway and trying to unwind that. And we've never, like, it's been a while since we've come out of a pandemic, especially in modern times, of the scale that we've just come out of. That's been like a global pandemic where things have been shut down, supply chains have been disrupted.
Well, hey, Genome, number one, your mic's a little off again. But number
Loud?
two, I don't think just the $1,200 checks that were sent caused inflation. I think the Federal Reserve buying market securities for, I don't know, 6 to 10 months after we knew inflation was not transitory. They said, well, we got to finish this 6 months. That was the bigger one where we added trillions to that. The checks weren't even $1 trillion to the debt. So
Well,
I just want to that is a misnomer.
My personal experience, having a business and construction and stuff like that, we, like last year at this time, we received an email from our suppliers that because of the supply chain issues, some material prices were going up by 35 to 50% in 1 year. Normally, I mean, it's expected like material prices go up a little bit, obviously like 1 or 2%, but a 35 to 55% increase, that was supply chain disruptions due to COVID and the war.
Yeah, but that was like people like me doing like 6-figure renovations, not people buying $1,000 worth of lumber. Okay, that's not what people were doing with their checks. So, no.
Yeah, it was like energy prices from the war went up. That drove costs of shipping, all of that up. It was the inflation. Investors were buying record numbers of properties during COVID. Sales were shooting up because the rates were so low. But now that the rates are higher, the inflation seems to be being taken care of from both the war, the energy prices are down, and the interest rates are back up. So we have to wait for these higher rates for them to take their course, right? To see if these the consumer debt bubbles are going to pop, or if these massive amount of Airbnbs that were sold are going to be a problem. I mean, it takes some time to figure out if any of that stuff's going to become a big problem, or if we're going to get through it and soft land.
Yeah,
There is like that's also
all I'm saying, it's not a normal business cycle. It's not like business as usual. It's not. We're not coming out of a normal business cycle. None of this stuff is.
No,
like,
I know.
I haven't seen this before in 30 years. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you pick your cause and effect, but I like in 40 years I've never seen anything like this before.
No, the Fed raised the rates at a record speed, but we have seen where the Fed had to increase rates, and then as they decreased them, something popped and they had to decrease them even faster. So we have seen this cycle before. It might be a little bit different than the last few times, and it might be causes like the war and the COVID, but we have seen this sort of business cycle before.
I think you're on your own in saying that we've seen anything like this before.
I agree. There's nothing like this before.
Great Depression.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would say it's been the easiest period of money in the history of money for the last, let's call it 12 years. And then now we're unwinding something that we've never done in monetary theory. I don't think any of us should know what's going to happen.
There's an age-old saying, don't fight the Fed. Also, somebody's asked about like sentiment in the market. I've noticed a lot of the talking heads are saying like they're projecting that it basically goes flat for like the next couple months, like maybe sideways, drifts lower, comes back, and then we're more in line with like the next couple years aren't going to be like 10% up years. They're going to be, instead of being huge negative years. So that was kind of, and then another interesting thing I heard somebody mention yesterday on CNBC was that a lot of the volatility in the market now, they're factoring in these 0 DTE. So they were talking about these daily expirations. They said it's really controlling a lot of the volume in the markets. So they're picking up on that and talking about that.
Yeah, that's right.
The options trade, the 0 TTE options trade, is that what you mean?
Yeah, they're basically saying that's a huge part of like pinning now. So like price movements are very, very precise, even like day to day and stuff. They said that 0 DTE, they said that those products, they said retail's eating them up. So the context of it, it made it sound like retail was still really bullish on the market, and these 0 DTE things are a driving factor for like kind of restricting big price movements right now, and it was just something to keep in mind. I thought it was fascinating to actually hear him say it live. I was like, wow.
I think you should do some
Yeah, it's
extra
interesting.
diving into the Barron's article about this phenomenon, because saying that there's less volatility isn't really accurate. For example, prior to 2023, the meme stocks were held in underlying shares. Now, those same traders are keeping some of their capital safe and using smaller amounts of capital on options. So overall, they're allocating less capital into the market, but there's more volatility on that single trade. And because it's not priced into the VIX, it's actually harder to see on any given day how much volatility there is in a traditional sense. So when these institutions acquire large amounts of shares, sometimes they're just holding the shares so that they have the rights to sell you guys option contracts, and they're hedging their position through ETFs. So check out the Barron's article on this. Just saying that there's going to be less volatility is actually not the case. The institutions that know how to do this shit are pricing it with advanced models, but any given day volatility.
No, I didn't mean less volatility. I mean, when you see those, like, it's more of an options pinning thing. So like yesterday's close, you saw it try and check down to 411 and then spikes into the close, right? So those are all very specific moves they have to happen. They're buying up dirt cheap puts, you know, in that hour before the move, and then they're dumping them 30 minutes into the, you know, close and buying up dirt cheap calls. You know, they're saying that's
mean
just a
to
huge
interrupt you,
in the
Fresh is
market
back, but-
intraday.
Go ahead, Elliot.
Can I, excuse me? Can I?
Hold on, everyone. Elliot,
Yes, sir.
go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, guys. We got 5 minutes left for the market opens. If we could just mention some plays, let everybody kind of calm down a little bit before market opens. It's going to be interesting one for sure.
I got a couple of plays.
So ELS is a ticker that came up yesterday post Super Bowl. Basically overbought beauty chain, looking at the May 19th put for the $55 strike. I'm trying to get them at anywhere from 50 cents a contract up to 65, and it looks super overbought. It's at its gamma max, trying to get some downward momentum, but it usually takes 2 to 3 months for it to get back to delta neutral.
Sorry. So I mentioned AMST. I know you guys don't really like penny plays, but it's up decent. I would watch that. And then you have the this vaccine company has a meeting this afternoon. It's called Blue Water Vaccine, BWV. Those are my favorites for the day. But AMST I got in already. Still in. I did get an INPX, and I'm down a couple dollars, but I would still watch that. That's INPX. So good luck today, guys.
What do you see, and why do you like those?
You know, my little formula that I had with it. So let's double back real fast.
Just tell us, did one run up? This one ran up?
Well, no, AMST.
Okay, guys, I've got a play for y'all. It's Pierce Cycle, PCT. Don't buy it now. Wait till after earnings. Wait until the IV crush fades from earnings, okay? Don't go in now. But puts at the money, year out, okay? Read the Hindenburg report on these guys from 2 years ago. They've still not made any money. They're still a zero revenue company. They still have a negative PE ratio. They're going to bleed out of the rest of their cash in 5.2 months. Okay. Nothing, right? Supposedly they supposedly recycle plastic. I said Pierce Cycle, PCT. PCT. Get it.
Question, but before Tuesday Fly was talking, there was a guy saying about Gamma Max Delta Cross play. What was the ticker on that one?
ELF, Echo Lima Foxtrot.
Thanks.
I'm taking a look at Nvidia before earnings. They just had a price target upgrade from Bank of America. They're just super bullish on them. They have their tentacles and everything, and I think it's going to be a great decade for Jensen. So I'm riding with Nvidia.
And back to what I was saying before I was interrupted. AMST, somebody asked what I seen. The market cap is 8.52. Shares outstanding is that 2.5 that I speak of. And you got a lot of volume today. I got in at 39 cents, actually 41. I apologize. So that's what I seen when I posted it. And then the vaccine company has a meeting today with the news. It may run up. And so, again, I'm all about in and out. Just get your profits and also make sure you pay yourself at the end of the week because you don't profit unless it goes back to your bank. Markets open. Good luck, guys and ladies.
Ding. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Yes, it's Valentine's Day. So if you're losing money and it's red, don't feel so bad because Valentine's Day is full of redness, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, good luck, everyone. Let's keep the market talk going. Feel free to talk what you want, but keep it short. Don't tell us a story. There's no fire going, so just kind of keep to the point if you may, and keep your political comments and your lawsuits and your pump and dumps for the Discord. That's right. We have a Discord. Wall Street Bets has a Discord. Check it out. It's in the comment section under opinion, pinned message there. You'll find the link to the Discord. You can go in there and watch movies, play casinos, scratchers. We even have some slot machines. That's correct. We have slot machines. Last I heard, there's about $1 billion jackpot. Not sure if that's true or not, but you can go to our Discord and find out if that is true. And I digress.
Are you saying Valentine's Day?
Valentines, Tino, whatever you want to say at the end of the day.
Well, if it's Valentine's Day, there's a really good joke on a TV show, that's all. But carry on.
No, go ahead. Go with the jokes. I like jokes.
Oh, no, it's just like a running joke on the show. They're just kind of ripping on one of the characters. That's all. It's pretty funny.
Are there 4 different Feds speaking today? Did I see that correctly? And does anybody think that'll affect the market?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely affect the market because you had CPI bang in line with expectation. So I think the market's having a hard time figuring out which way it wants to go. I think the rhetoric from the Fed speakers will definitely color it.
I just had a question on insurance companies. I noticed a lot of people like complaining about their premiums going up. How could we play that into, I guess, like a benefit for us, and how far out in the future do you think those profits will be like put in the PE?
So when you say insurance companies, do you just mean like what? Come on,
Car
Andrew,
insurance, in particular. I'm sorry.
Like home and
no,
I think you're talking like home and auto, your PNC.
yeah, because I've noticed everyone has been complaining their insurance premiums are going up $100 to $200 a month, not yearly.
A lot. I was licensed in that world for 20 years. You have state regulation and like risk pools. So what's happening is all the states are saying, wow, we have a lot more accidents, a lot more claims, and a lot of those insurance numbers are actually driven by policy. So it does happen. It is kind of a dual-edged sword because if they're having to raise premiums, they are receiving more income, but that usually also means they're paying out more. They're having more casualty. So it can be good, but long-term, it actually can hurt the bottom line, if that helps.
Okay, so but you think a play like just buying into maybe some like Berkshire A stock, because they're like all in on insurance. You think their PE moving forward would be something that would be like definitely like hit in the future?
You said hit. I mean, I think you mean positive, right? Because you again
definitely
upfront, it's
make money.
Correct. Yes, it will. It'll help them usually on the front end. But again, the risk is that they're going to have to pay out more claims because usually when the states ask the states to actually raise it, they're seeing more, whether it be disaster claims with your homes, with roofs and wind damage, or more auto claims because people are having more fatalities and more accidents in the last few years. So, I think it's known. If I know about it, and I've been out of business for a few years, and I do know it is being spoken about anecdotally online. Sucks for us as consumers, but I don't know if it's going to have as huge of an impact as you think. And A shares for Berkshire, isn't that the $400,000 one? I think you mean B shares.
I meant B shares. I'm sorry, you're right. And I was thinking that maybe it just might add more cash flow, like to their business, and that might affect their PE.
Sure. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'd probably go with the pure play on insurance because Berkshire is so diversified. If you're trying to like make this play, you probably have to like offset it with a hedge or two to hedge out like the beta of the other assets in the portfolio. So it's probably simpler just to play like a Progressive or an Allstate or a I don't know, Liberty Mutual or whatever.
Yeah, just do like a pure play on it. I like that. I like that. Because
I mean, look at Progressive. That chart. There's nothing more perfect in the world than the Progressive chart.
Progressive is a monster. I'm definitely gonna take your advice on that. And I'm going to start looking more into maybe some of these year out options for Progressive because I think that cash will affect their PE positive.
Yeah, no, I like that idea on that play. Yeah, Berkshire's got retail also, but then they also have what, Bank of America. Apple's their largest holding. It's almost a damn Apple proxy now.
Yeah, and Apple's done nothing but show the market how to definitely manage a product and distribute a product and have people buy in on it 100%. Like they're definitely a moat.
Sure. No, I appreciate the idea though. I like the sentiment. I like where your head was going. The overall PC charging everyone more.
Yeah, I had the same great idea like about a year ago, and I didn't do it, and I'm still not doing it because I'm stupid. You should do it.
Anyone has any thoughts on these solar companies? It looks like their earnings come out and they do great, but their stock tank. Enphase and Solar Edge is a good example.
Yeah, I was asking about that earlier. Solar Edge had a really nice print and earnings report and outlook and all that, and they still got hit. So I think there's something secular that, or cyclical, I should say, that is affecting the stocks. I don't know if it's the valuations or people are thinking oil will stay compressed on prices.
No, the solar industry outlook is strong, super strong. What I think what's going on is the PEs are so high. There's so much money in these solar stocks right now that institutional investors are probably selling off. I think a lot of people are selling off, expecting something more than a soft landing coming. I have a lot of money sitting on the side, ready to pour back into solar. It's the strongest industry out there. It's gonna explode. I mean, it absolutely is exploding. If you look at the data every day, it's just taking over. Europe did all renewables. They did not have a problem with increasing emissions during the war. They actually installed more solar and wind and heat pumps. Even though nuclear failed, they managed to reduce emissions. It was like a miracle. And they did it with renewables and adding solar. And now every country in the world does not want to be shocked with oil and gas shocks like what just happened. And they've all pushed up their renewable energy targets, and they're all going full out for solar and wind and storage. In fact, there's more storage being added to the grid in 2023 than gas right now in the queues. So yeah, the industry is like super strong. I think what it is that so many people already had so much money in it that there's institutional investors where it like the stock would run up, earnings would come, and then it would drop. People were ready to take profits. These are people putting their money on the side, waiting for something to happen, and the larger economy in general. I don't know the stock market business that well, but I definitely know the green energy stuff. So that's my perspective from knowing that stuff on the inside. Hope that helps.
Yeah, my guess is there's a lot of people that were betting on $120 oil, and I think a lot of those bets have come off. So I think there's some excess in the multiples that are compressing as a result. But I agree with the secular aspect of what he's saying. I think that's all priced in, obviously, but I think there's a cyclical factor to oil that is being reflected in the stocks right now.
So yeah, I mean the the U.S. LNG exporters are having problems getting Europe to sign long-term contracts. They thought it was going to be easy, but Europe's like, no, we're going to go with solar and wind. It looks like if the only tailwinds for oil would be if China opened up and needed a lot right now, but otherwise it's like at its peak, and coal too. It should all be winding down as far as how much they use. Now the prices could still be volatile if crazy stuff happens, but if that's what you mean by secular.
No, that's not what I mean.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. It's all right. We have a difference of opinion. That's fine.
Well, I can share data and stuff if that helps you see.
No, that's okay. I've been in phase for a long time. I have solar panels on my roof. I think we're just talking past each other. It's fine.
Well, yeah, if you're seeing something that I'm not, I'm interested too, because I mean, that's my guess as to why these solar stocks are having like outstanding growth, great earnings report, and the price is not acting the way we would think, right?
I mean, I agree. I think PE is too high on solar. Um, the price, the PE on all solar or major solar is just, it's not enough to warrant getting into it now when the government has to start offering more incentives and bonuses and things like that to even move the sector a little bit right now.
Well, yeah, no, the business is exploding, but yeah, if the PEs are high, investors are nervous. They got their money on the side, and one of the first things they look at is the PE, right? They don't see the growth in the solar sector. They don't see what I see. A lot of investors, because the solar industry is super booming, and it's different than the market, right? The market's looking at, are we heading to a recession? Do I need to look at PEs? I need to put my money in safe places. They're running to value stocks, to whatever commodities or whatever does better in that cycle. So the solar, I mean, naturally, if it's growing the most and has the highest PEs, it might get cut the most, right?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like, I would be nervous to put a bunch of money in solar right now, seeing as though I mean, when you invest in it, where's the risk for it to go down is more than it is to go for the stock to raise in price just based on the PE. Like,
I have money in it, and I'm prepared to write it down because it won't. I've had it for a long time. I just saw an article the other day. It says the top 3 stocks, and they were in phase for 5 years. In phase, Solar Edge, and Tesla. And all my Tesla is gains right now, even when it was down to 200. So I held money in it. But I know that when this thing is over, man, that's where the money's going to go. Money's going to drain out of coal and oil. That stuff is peaked, and this renewable energy stuff is really disruption. It's something we haven't seen in energy in like 140 years. It's going to do some crazy stuff. It's going to, I mean, it might have made Putin start a war, an oil war. This disruption in energy is going to be crazy, but that's where it's going.
Hey, look, I like wind and solar very much too, and I know that's like super your thing, and that's awesome. I'm on that train. Like, choo choo, let's go along. But especially for oil, I wouldn't be so confident as to say oil is done, oil's over. Just keep in mind, like, there's a lot of people, even if like all the states are like, we're never selling gas cars, all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, a lot of people still have gas cars that they are not planning on changing out for a decade or longer, depending on their financial situation, that they're going to still take to the gas pump. So there's always going to be some demand. And that's not
That's
even
all
thinking of
true.
oil beyond like just the car uses. There are other industrial uses that oil will always exist in.
Yeah, and plastics, that's all true. But on the other hand, a commodity like oil, the price goes reeling with just small disruptions in supply or demand, right? A refinery goes out and freaking prices go crazy. So these EVs that all these countries mandated by 2030 that everybody must buy, and I know that people don't like the mandates, but people love these EVs, and there's new battery chemistries coming out that the ones you see today are like nothing compared to what's going to be coming in a few years. But that anyway, it only takes a small, like 20%, 10% cut on demand, and that messes up global markets for commodities, and it's going to be doing some crazy stuff. And then
Hey, I've
solar and wind is the only thing that gets cheaper. You subsidize it, it keeps getting cheaper. So 3 years from now, the prices are going to be totally different from what we see now. In fact, 10 years ago, nobody would have expected the prices to be where they are right now. And this stuff is going to keep accelerating. It's going to cause some real disruption.
Hey, I've said this a few times, but alternative fuels. I think that's the direction we're going. Toyota is totally not on board with going full EV, and that's a very, very large car company across the world. So,
As solar gets like ridiculously cheap, like in Chile, right? That's the place where they have the telescopes in the mountains because the skies are clear all the time. Like solar is like below a penny per kilowatt hour in cost, and they're going to build some wind and they're going to build some fuels, like you say, because the power is going to be virtually free.
yeah, Porsche opened up an e-fuel.
The new Toyota guy just came out and said they're going full electric. Like they were doing a 180, we got to go with the electric. It's like just today he said that, or yesterday. But you're right, Toyota's going the other way.
I saw the opposite, my friend.
No, you did. But today, recently, I'll post it right here in the comments. Toyota did like a 180.
Yeah, the other guy just stepped down. What was it, last Thursday or something? It was very abrupt. So
yeah, and every day you hear these hydrogen companies. Oh no, okay, we were wrong. We're gonna go EV. Every day, I wake up and I'm like, there's no way this solar stuff's gonna be what I think it is. And I look in the news for why my thesis might be wrong, and I search. Like, I can't be right. This can't be real. And instead, I just find more and more evidence that it's growing faster and faster every day.
Okay, so it does say Toyota is starting EV with Lexus. So a little high end, pretty expensive. Not your average person's going to be buying these Lexus EVs. So
haven't they had hybrids for a while?
Yeah, hybrids are a great technology. And now compare that with an alternative fuel, say this e-fuel that Porsche's using, then yeah, I mean, technically there's a ban on gasoline powered engines. You can still have an internal combustion engine that doesn't run on gasoline.
I just remember test driving a hybrid Lexus, and it was pretty affordable price wise, and they seem to know exactly what they were doing.
See, the you get a lot of performance with hybrids because it has all that electric assist.
And it recharges well, yeah.
Yeah, with regenerative braking, and they do have plug-in hybrids too. But as you drive, and it all depends on driving conditions, and that's how the vehicle battery charges. Whenever I worked at Honda, a new battery, they were warranted for, I believe, 10 years, 100,000 miles. But if it was out of warranty, you're looking at about $3,500 to $4,000 to replace a battery in a hybrid. So they were still kind of expensive. I haven't done too much hybrid stuff for Porsche. I did have to replace a part, and it was about $4,000, but of course it wasn't warranty. So
sorry to interrupt,
that's a
but how much would it cost if you had to replace the engine in a combustion engine?
I mean, you could, if it's a Honda, geez, you're looking at maybe $1,500 parts and labor, if you know what you're looking for.
Oh, no, going to the dealership, how much? You know what I mean? Like, you just gave the dealership price. How much would it cost there?
In like for a Honda, or what are we talking here? I haven't been there in quite some time, but
I think $1,500 is a little cheap for an engine. So I mean, there's cost with both. So I don't see the argument there.
Yeah, like it all depends on the car.
And
like,
anyhow, I think we're telling a lot of tales. I've only heard one stock. I didn't know if anyone
had any other ideas besides Enphase. So just kind of curious.
I'm gonna just toss out my my stupid option. I mentioned this a month ago. Everybody laughed at me. Wish 2025 Leap calls 50 cent. Everybody laughed at me. They were 52 cents a piece or 84 cents a piece right now. I said, as long as they don't go bankrupt, these things are going to be worth money.
Bro, I wish I.
That was probably me that was laughing.
There's a good chance they'll go bankrupt though. But I mean, here we are. I've
What-
almost
what-
I've almost got a full bagger on it. I'm almost up 100%.
Why did it pump yesterday? Or
There's currently a pump and dump campaign going on with Citron Research, so I would not
so
buy
just
into this.
P&D.
I would not buy into this. This is actually my exit.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you get out?
Yeah, this is actually my exit on Wish.
All right, good. Man, I wish I heard that call because I used to play Wish all the time.
I mean, they do. The one thing Citron's bringing up is that they've completely fired their old C-suite and they brought in a basically completely new C-suite over the course of the last year, which is true. I still don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if that means it's going to get better. Like, it could get worse. It just means different, right? So, yeah, I'm taking this pump as my exit. It is up 74% on the year, though. It's crazy.
Better than my account.
Oh no, portfolio wide, I'm not up nearly like that. I'm just talking about Wish stock by itself.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I could have just held Wish stock. My portfolio would be better.
I tried that once. It didn't go so well.
Yeah,
Also wish. I lost like 50 grand on that shit.
Jeez, you put that much. Jeez.
Brutal. I lost $5,710 on that.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
remember.
I'm a real penny pincher. I know exactly how much I lost on some of my bad trades.
I just remember Wish being the stock where everyone was like, "Hey, there's no way it could go lower than this. It's not going lower." And then it just kept going lower. And then you think it's lower again. And then you buy. And then it goes even lower. And then it just kept doing that for like a year. So many people got burned. I know we were talking about Airbnb. Does anybody have any opinions on Redfin? The implied move for Redfin is pretty high. So the IV is probably high as well. I didn't see too much volume on the option chains, but I wonder if anybody's bullish or bearish on Redfin. I would say it's similar to Airbnb, so I'll be bearish until I do more research.
I'm bearish on Redfin. I saw their chief economist talking, and she looked like she should be a barista at my local Starbucks. And that's why I'm bearish.
She's the only way.
Maybe that makes me a dick, but whatever.
Isn't Redfin closer to like Zillow, 65 houses?
Yeah, it's kind of the same. Like they both have like that platform. They buy and flip houses, but it's also they use it as like a broker to purchase homes and sell homes through them.
Sorry, not Zillow. Yeah, Zillow and Open Door. I believe.
I thought Open Door is more of the concept of like the process of purchasing a home is more streamlined. Redfin and Zillow, you could like buy and sell through their like realtors or use them as their realtors too. But they themselves were buying homes and flipping them, which is why Zillow, I think they took a loss selling back homes after they increased their inventory.
Yeah, the Zillow thing was because they had like a buildup of inventories. They can't sell the houses.
They completely bailed on that model. They got crushed. Their
Yep.
main value is they sell premium. Like I'm a realtor for 8 years, so they sell like premium service. So you're basically buying like buyer leads, and you every once in a while get a listing. So they're banking on Zillow is basically the Google of real estate. So people are like, "Oh, I found my next house on Zillow." They make their money off selling premium subscriptions to real estate agents by zip code. Basically, it's the core of their revenue.
Yeah, they were driving a lot of the demand in the housing market boom because they were just doing their Zillow estimates or Redfin estimates, right? And so the prices were never really accurate. So when they were taking a loss on the homes that they loaded up on, they had a price adjust because the numbers that they were putting in and their Zillow estimates were way above realistic expectations. So that's why they got crushed pretty heavily. But the analytics behind the platforms is what people were interested in Zillow and Redfin. So yeah, like you said, real estate agents were getting leads that way. But honestly, like trying to find rentals and stuff through there was just a horrible experience.
I kind of wanted to react to the solar guy earlier that was going bananas on solar power. Because I kind of like in the Netherlands right now, it's huge as well. But I think there's a really big issue, and that's storing the overcapacity, right? Like battery tech, in particular for home tech or like utilities or whatever.
Yeah. So
because-
in the Netherlands, you have like the highest solar per capita now.
Right. Yeah.
And
So
Ultra, what's the city called? Ultra.
well, I mean, I live close to Rotterdam, but I think that I have solar panels. I've got like 10 on my roof. But the main problem right now is that when you need, and especially when you transition into heating your home with electricity-powered heating systems, compared to like most of the houses are heated by gas, and we kind of want to transition away from gas because of how we are.
You're installing a lot of heat pumps too there.
Right. Okay. So, but the thing with heat pumps is that they cost an enormous amount of electricity. First of all, you need to insulate your house properly, and then they need a lot of electricity. But the problem is when you need the heat pump the most, which is during the winter, the supply, electricity supply generated from your solar panels is the lowest because of the way the sun, what is it, the angle or whatever. You kind of generate most of your solar energy during the summer months because that's basically when they are the most efficient, and you need the heating during the winter. This poses a big challenge, I guess, because you want some form of long-term storage for your overcapacity, I guess, which is even short-term storage right now is incredibly expensive. I think like 1 day worth of energy or a battery would cost you 5 to 10 grand, which is what most people can't even afford that right now. So how do you see that? Like, how do you see?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Like Utrecht, have you been to Utrecht? Utrecht, is that in the Netherlands?
I don't. Utrecht.
Utrecht,
right.
okay.
It's one of the most central cities, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
You turned a road into a canal recently.
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah,
they have like giant V to G parking lots where they have fleets of electric cars.
Right.
And if cars are not being driven 95% of the time, these cars are sitting under this fleet under solar panels, and they're powering the buildings at night.
Right. So this is something that I was looking into as well, that you can use your Tesla or whatever. You can use your car, you charge your car during the day if you work from home, and then you can use to discharge it when you need the power. That would be like really good. It still doesn't solve the issue with like,
No. It's just one.
Winter,
it's just like one of thousands of things.
Right.
You can do. So like EVs are scaling up.
Right.
There's was it Tesla? Somebody just opened a new giant grid battery from all the used EV batteries. So when a battery's not working in an EV and no good for the car, they can use it a second life as a grid storage battery before they even have to recycle it. So there's going to be a market for your car battery. When it doesn't work in your car, you could sell it. So that that whole thing is growing, and then you have wind growing, and links to like Norway where the hydro is.
Right.
And wind in the North Sea and in the Mediterranean, and they're talking about building these giant energy islands to connect all these grids together like a internet of energy. Because you're very far up, so that's a much bigger problem for like the Netherlands.
Yeah, we're trying to deal with we have to deal with overcapacity right now, because during the days that the sunny days and the sunny days that are windy, in particular, because we have a lot of wind as well. You're looking at trying to export or just making sure that you don't overload the net. So
Yeah, curtailment. So that would be a good opportunity to store or to make hydrogen, or the guy that said the e-fuel,
Right.
because you're
So
going to curtail that energy anyway.
So hydrogen would be a potential solution for
I think-
long-term storage, right? This is the thing. Like
Yeah.
long-term storage is an issue.
Germany just moved their target up from 2045 to 2035 to be 100% renewables, and I think they're looking at hydrogen, and a lot of other of that, a lot of those other solutions. So right now they're installing so many batteries, lithium batteries, pumped hydro. The German grid operator said, we don't see a need for more storage until we get to about 70% renewable energy in the grid. By then, I expect all kinds of innovations. Not that we need them. I don't think we might not even need them. But by the time you get to 70% wind and solar, and EVs have scaled up, and you have all these batteries, you have demand response. You run your water heater when the sun is out, and you store that heat all day and night. And then, so what if you gotta keep a couple of gas plants around until you need them in an emergency? I mean,
yeah, of course, obviously, yeah, that makes
still
sense.
significantly reducing carbon.
But would you because I think this is interesting, I guess, from an investing perspective, is that do you think it's going to be mostly like energy in terms of storage for home usage, right? Is it going to be large scale or grid batteries, or is it going to be a battery at every home? Like, because obviously
I think batteries are going to get super cheap. You're going to have them in your home, your car, and you're going to have them as appliances. Water heater will be a battery. Your heat pump may be a battery.
Because this is the thing. I think there's a lot of development to be done still on that front, since they're super expensive right now. Even small batteries that will last you maybe half a day are like incredibly expensive still.
Yeah, a lot of it's because the demand has grown so much, right? Now now there's so many people. There are 20 gigafactories making batteries right now. There are 30 gigafactories being built. There are 50 more that have the cash to do it, and there are 100 more that have plans to get the cash to do it. And still, we're going to need like 400 gigafactories. But the demand right now is lithium is like crazy. It's like gold, but it's scary because it's like a commodity. Because as soon as you invest in it, if like everybody opens a mine, then the price
And
goes.
if there's going to be enough to supply demand.
So there's be plenty. Like CATL, they're building batteries out of sodium now. Sodium's 1,000 times more abundant than lithium, and lithium's not even. They call it a rare earth, but it's not rare. You just got to go out and mine it. But sodium's even easier. So CATL is building sodium batteries, selling them to Tesla. They came here to Virginia, Mansion State, the coal state, and they said, no, we don't want these Chinese guys here. So they moved to Michigan. They're opening a giant plant in Michigan with Ford to build CATL sodium batteries. So lithium's, I mean, the mineral stuff is just, it's a distraction somebody made up. It's not a bottleneck. It's not a.
No, obviously, like I just think that when I look at my private use, that I still think there's a bit of a there's obviously a challenge for those days that if you have like a week of like cloudy weather plus low wind power, you're gonna need something to obviously to transition between renewable and on demand, I suppose, either nuclear or because like that would be another solution, I suppose, and then obviously you want some form of long-term storage to like I have massive overcapacity during the summer, but then during winter there's especially I think December and January just close to
you guys have so
zero.
much solar. Like solar in the northern latitude gets like 40-50% capacity factor when the sun's up.
Yeah, but during winter you have zero. Like
during
for example,
you have zero. So
yeah,
you have places like
zero.
the UK is building a cable down to the, Morocco. They're going to get 10 gigs of baseload solar and wind and storage piped straight in from a place that's always going to have that kind of energy. And
the UK is building.
There's a cable
cables to Morocco.
Yeah, there's one to Iceland. There's one to Norway where they could pump hydro when they oversupply their wind. And use the hydro when they need it. So if you guys could pipe a cable down to Spain and or wherever and sell your solar somewhere. Maybe there's going to be a factory making hydrogen. That's long-term storage. And some of these new batteries, these flow batteries and stuff like that, I've been reading articles. Some of them, they're talking about using it long-term. There's a new chemistry that can do long-term storage.
So
Don't
is
forget
that like
about the grid scale battery plant that they're building. They're giving incentives to companies to build these like basically these big battery storage stations for places I guess like that they could use where the guy that's talking is at, and you all can store your power all day in these grid battery plants and then just throw it at night.
Yeah, Ontario just bought a gig-size battery from Tesla. It was in the news like yesterday to put on their grid.
Well, and that's because the grids are consumed as soon as the electricity is created, right? So there is no storage in almost all of America's grid. It's just the power is generated from the nuclear plant. It goes straight to the customer, and unless the demand is higher than what they're generating, there's nothing else they can do. When the demand goes above, then they have to pay for those premiums for, the coal plants to fire up the additional, the auxiliary power. But there is no storage almost on any of America's grids at all. And I'm sorry to hijack this. I just want to get back to that sodium ion battery you're talking about from CATL. I'm just reading they say that the ranges are up to 500 kilometers, which is like 300 miles. What's the life expectancy of a sodium ion battery compared to a lithium? Have you found that?
I was wondering that as well.
I think it's a shorter, cheaper battery right now, but they improve these chemistries. So they're doing it because of the lithium. So everybody wants lithium, right? So high prices are the fix for high prices. That drives more mining, but it also drives more research for different chemistries, different types of batteries that don't use cobalt, don't use the expensive stuff. So they're using the sodium in cars, and they're even building like hybrid batteries, part sodium, part lithium. So you can save money and still have more range or whatever it is, cycle or charge time. Yeah, I don't know the exact. I think the sodium battery is a little bit. It's not as great as and far as advanced as a lithium battery, but it's super cheap. So if you want to sell a bunch of EVs, you build this battery and boom, you're in business.
Yeah, and replacing batteries is no problem in a normal car. I see sodium ion batteries are actually being looked at as replacing the lead acid batteries we use in cars now. So even in internal combustion cars, the batteries and alternators going to run off of these new sodium ion. This is impressive, very impressive.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about using it for the lead. It would be cheaper than a lithium to replace the lead acid batteries. So,
yeah, even in
the other thing, the lead batteries in cars today, you don't have to mine any lead to replace these. Those are all recycled batteries. So, and a lot of these lithium miners are saying, yeah, by 2040 we shouldn't, even if we don't go to the next solid state batteries, we shouldn't have to mine any lithium because we take these batteries, recycle them, and we'll use 98% of that same battery. So the lithium miners, that's the other thing about investing in a mine. How long is it going to be good for before you don't have to mine it anymore? But yeah, there's an article out today that said that we're installing more storage in the U.S. grid. You said there wasn't any storage. It's like booming now for what's going to be in 2023. More storage than additional gas capacity.
Yeah, that's
It's
interesting.
very exciting.
And then school buses, they're like tripling. They're like electric school buses are going faster than EVs. In some of these states, they're tripling their electric school bus orders. And then so these batteries are going to find their way into school buses, mining equipment, tractors, big trucks. I was looking at a company called Modine because they build a thermal system to keep the batteries cool in these big systems. I bet this company makes a lot of money off of this.
What company was that?
Modine, M-O-D-I-N, M-O-D-I-N-E.
Thanks. I'm gonna do some research on that because they're giving out. They said they're giving out 10-year. They're making a $10 billion investment in manufacturing clean technology facilities and products, and the 10-year tax
Who said that?
incentive for houses. I'm looking here on Yahoo Finance.
No, but who's building that? Are you saying
the-
in general the country?
In general, yeah, in general, the country is giving out these incentives. The $10 billion is being tax investment credits for new manufacturing facilities making clean technology products. So you're basically getting your factories for free to make this stuff.
Yeah, so when you talk about Tesla competitors, CATL, that may be one. They're opening that factory with Ford in Michigan, creating a lot of jobs, building all those new chemistry batteries.
Sounds like a good play to me.
And it's a China company. I don't know how this whole China-U.S. thing is going to work. We got to do business with each other, or all our companies get destroyed.
Do we have a Wall Street Bets ambassador to the UN yet?
Loose. I'll nominate Loose.
I accidentally hit the downvote emoji. I meant the laugh emoji.
It's all right. I'll accept both.
I think news would go off on the UN in a very profane way. Very entertaining. Maybe not so productive.
You could go teach him a thing or two, I think.
I like how into commodities the talks have gotten. I guess commodity is probably the wrong word.
Materials, commodities, energy, it's all kind of the same.
Yeah.
Definitely. Go.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's interesting. And again, I like hearing plays, but it does make you think of the larger conceptual, where are we at in the world kind of change, and how much it really is just what we need to use to build the things to live. Isn't that crazy? So basic, right? You can downvote it. It's okay.
I muted everyone because there's a pretty entertaining comment saying, second day in a row, can whoever is breathing like a beached whale clean out your nose, buddy? So I wasn't hearing anything. Were any of you guys hearing anything?
I heard it yesterday.
So,
I really didn't hear anything. I mean, I'm the one that will pipe up and in real life too, not just on Reddit, and say, "Why are you breathing through your nose?" You know. So I didn't hear it.
That might have been me. I got accused of that before. I think my mic is bad.
All right. Well, either way, we're back. So let me know if you're still hearing it in the comments. But yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Everything's green.
Thank you. I was about to say that. And VIX is falling even harder now, a little bit.
Yeah, if numbers are higher than expected, then this everything that's been going on is just making no sense.
It looked pretty obvious to me. I mean, so the past CPI numbers that we've gotten were actually under the expected, but then revised to either meet expected or be above. So they're constantly putting the numbers lower and then revising them after, which creates like these mini rallies that we're seeing. And then that combined with Powell's, lower BPS hike, I think it's creating a lot of fake bull runs when we're nowhere near recovery. The rate hikes are going to continue pretty much all year, whether they're small or big. They still have to continue, and I'm just waiting for the bottom. I don't see it yet.
You guys see my video right now?
Yeah, up almost 4.5%. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, the stock only goes up.
This looks like this is from 3 days ago, so I'm sorry, but do you guys know that Bed Bath & Beyond is closing their Canada operations? Opinion. Go get some cheap sheets and towels, buddy.
Hey, maybe actually, you know what? I will go check today, see what's going on. But I don't know. I never felt like Bed Bath & Beyond had a very big presence here. Although I have purchased from them in the past. It's just, I don't know. They were never like the retailer,
You know what's crazy? I know 2 stores that like just renovated probably like 2 months ago.
And everything's fine, right? Whistling through the graveyard.
Well, I do think some of their stores can turn a profit, but without closing all the ones that don't turn a profit, they're not going to make a recovery. Without going into e-commerce, though, there's no survival for almost any big box store that doesn't sell something that can't be shipped, right? I mean, they sell sheets, Bed Bath and Beyond, like it's home stuff. That stuff can be shipped from Amazon, from anywhere. The retail stores that are going to stay in business are places like sporting goods. You can't ship a canoe. So my retail investments are all in the stores that sell excuse me, the stores that sell the big stuff. I don't,
And then
if it can be shipped, I don't invest in it.
a lot of like other companies are starting to do home stuff too. Like for example, Zara, like they have their own home section. Like there's less reasons to go to Bed Bath and Beyond.
Anyhow, I just thought it was funny. Don't really like the company, but yeah, we can move on.
I mean, I'm reading the announcement. It says all stores in Canada. So
It's real news, but it's just, to me, it's not going to be a real company for long. That's all. It's not worth our time. Sorry. Wingstop's still on a tear, which still drives me crazy. It's got almost a 120. Yeah, just shy of 120 forward PE now.
Oh no, who have I invited up? Aid groundbreaking. What's going on?
What's going on with Enphase Energy?
I don't know what is going on with Enphase.
Somebody mentioned they were in the Hindenburg report. Can anybody elaborate?
Wait, someone here was in the Hindenburg report?
Enphase.
Sorry. Oh, I think that was not Hindenburg, but
Sorry about that. My microphone icon wasn't popping up. You guys were having a discussion on retailers. I've been looking, like you said, a lot of things are going online, but I think the one type of store that will not go away are women's clothing stores, because they love to touch, feel, and look in the mirror when they put things on. I have a wife, so, but just something I've been keeping an eye on with the markets and people, what they're buying and spending on.
And what is your wife spending on?
all right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're getting tired. Must be getting old because we're getting tired earlier and earlier these days. But it's almost 10:30, and I think we'll call it a wrap here, even though we've still got quite a few more people. It's slowing down a bit. So thank you all for
Maybe everyone's
tuning in.
trying to get that last minute Valentine's Day present. You know, let's think of it as a positive. Let's say they're not looking at losses. We're off shopping. Oh shit, it's today. Just kidding. Sorry, but positive, right? Thank you, opinion.
What's the ticker for that?
What's the ticker for the LUV? No, that's Southwest. Sorry, I don't know. CVS, go get those last minute gifts. Go pay those drugstore prices. That's the play. Anyhow.
All right.
Never go wrong with Rite Aid ice cream. Go to Thrifties.
All work in a pinch.
I mean, look, dating markets are a form of markets, right?
Match is definitely a publicly traded company, and they talk about running on the hamster wheel. You would think they have a good model, but I mean, that just shows you can still have a good model and have a company that may not be run correctly, right?
Hey, just a heads up to Norfolk Southern. There's a lot more stuff coming out about this train derailment in Ohio, and it's not good. So keep an eye on that company. They things are not looking good.
I read the mayor was gonna hold their feet to the fire.
If that's the case, I'd look into shorting Rail. Rail is a rail car manufacturer. So depending on if those cars that got turned over were made by Rail, that might be extremely bearish for them. So
Yeah, and there was
again,
another train derailment in Houston.
RAIL.
There was also another train derailment in Houston yesterday. So there's been like 3 or 4 derailments in the last week.
The one in Houston was due to a vehicle accident, but yes, there is, and I am here in Ohio, or Central Ohio, so we're up the water table and we're upwind, so it's a little scary. And yeah, the fact that Norfolk Southern has said, sorry, it's my speech impediment, has said, oh, everything's fine, is always a little scary because they're not going to know for decades. So,
Well, it's not just them. There's a lot of air, I guess, pollution experts that are saying the air quality's fine, where clearly it's not. Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and
yeah,
we're just not hearing about it.
Yeah, and there's some threads on the Ohio subreddit that they've just posted it because there's so many people talking about conspiracy theories and all this stuff, and it's not that. Now, is it bad practice and bad maintenance potentially? Oh, definitely. Are they trying to make themselves look as best as they can in a horrible situation? Certainly. Is it a conspiracy theory? No, not in my opinion. So it's a tragic accident that was probably due to cuts and other sad things. So if you want to short them or short rail, do it. Sorry about. I was trying to leave it on roses and chocolate. I swear, dude.
No, that's my fault. I went off the rails. No pun intended.
Oh God.
I'm dead serious. No pun intended.
All right. Then I guess we'll see you all tomorrow, and I'll end it here quickly before anyone else chimes in. Thanks so much. Bye.